everybody. Thanks for watching. A lot of people are worried about the state of America. What is going to happen in America's future? Where is America headed? A lot of people are looking to the news and looking at TV and seeing what's going on overseas, and they thinking that, there might be another terrorist attack here. What is going to happen? So the whole thing is, whatever the powers that be are planning, they will accomplish. Whatever they try to do, they are going to get it done if the American people do not wake up. If we don't wake up and snap out of it and realize what's going on, what has been going on in America, then, whatever they're planning is going to happen. It's going to come true. They will reach the goal of their agenda. We have to wake up and snap out of it. Now, it is obvious that America has been taken over by international bankers, corporations, and corrupt politicians. It's obvious. Now, we can look at history and we can see exactly what has happened in this country, what has happened to this country. And we look at history and we read about these things and we see all of these, issues, and we read about it and we just ignore it. Nobody talks about it. Nobody cares that, these people who are running these politicians own, the news media. They own everything. These people have managed to buy up every facet of influence, every facet of persuasion in America. They own the radio stations, the news media. They own the magazines, the newspapers. They own everything, and they have been using it well against us. Now, we know December 23rd, 1913, with only 3 members of Congress present, these people passed the Federal Reserve Act while everybody else was away on holiday weekend or, for Christmas weekend, Christmas vacation. They passed the Federal Reserve Act, and they gave the power of our money. They gave the power of our money supply to a group of private international bankers. And they won't tell us who these people are, and what's going on. Now, that's like you giving your friend money to hold for you, and they giving it to somebody else, and they won't tell you, who got your money. You try to get your money back, and it's problems. Paperwork got to be done. It's issues. Now, in reality, you call a cop, call a lawyer, you get it straightened out. But this is the government. And, who do we turn to? It's nobody we can go to, we can look to. We're supposed to look to our government, but they have obviously sold us out years ago. We just let it happen. We just forget about what's going on. We act like, everything is fine, and we stay entertained, and we play around, and we just forget what has taken place in this country. So yeah, people are worried, but you got to look at the history. Look at what's taking place. Look at what's right in front of our face. 2008, big stock market crash. So many people lost their homes. The mortgage bubble, the derivatives bubble. So many people got suckered into the whole housing market, and it was pulled from under them, and they lost their homes. A lot of people really seen how crooked these bankers are, in 2008 and, since then. But our government, who's supposed to be for the people, have instead bailed out the banks, given our money to the banks, the very people who stole your homes. And yeah, we had the whole, the march and the protest, and we had the whole Occupy Wall Street thing. But, what came from that? Nothing happened. These banks still made away with trillions of dollars. And it's like the American people just, we get mad for a little bit, that something happens. Something happens in the media. Somebody dies or a celebrity does something. Somebody says something crazy, and we just forget. And we move on to the next thing. And this is what has been taking place over the years. They are very good at taking our eye off of what matters and focusing it on something stupid. And we have been falling for it, for a long time. We have become willing accomplices. We have become willing hostages in the plan of the power elite. Now, we have forgotten that, the power is in the people. We have become subservient to the government instead of remembering that they are supposed to serve us. The power is in the people. We have seriously forgotten that. We have forgotten it. We have to really look at history and let history remind us of what has taken place. What took place on Jekyll Island. There have been books written about these subjects, and we don't read them. We just don't. Nobody pays attention. And we wonder why things are the way that it is in America. Now, we got to remember the power is in the people. We are living under the biggest con in human history. The biggest con. Our presidential administration is full of frauds. They're full of frauds. We have been tricked into believing that we actually have a say in what happens in this country. We have no say at all. We have been tricked into thinking that, we go elect somebody and they're going to do something and they're going to change and help, fix America. When has this happened? It has not happened yet. And we have been under this con for years. We are by no means free in this country. Now, all the wealth has been stripped away. All of the land, the wealth of America has been given to these bankers and given to these, people, and they have placed it into a system of control. So now, if you have land and you want to, grow some crops and you want to farm and you want to grow some fruits and vegetables and sell it to the locals, you can't simply do that without going through this system of control. It's not the same anymore. Our money used to be backed by gold and silver. They took that away from us and gave us what? Paper. Nothing. It's just paper. And a lot of people say, well, you can buy stuff with this paper. I can pay my bills. I can do what I need to do with this paper. But, if the dollar crashes, then it's just paper. It's worthless. Now, a lot of people think that, well, when a dollar crashes, I got material things I can sell. I can sell a car. I can sell my house. I got things that's worth money. But who are you going to sell them to? You want to sell them to China? You don't live in China. So what are you going to do with, the yen or with the pound or, with the euro? What are you going to do with that money in America? It's going to be a huge problem that we will face if the dollar crash. And a lot of people are not thinking about that. So, you get up every morning or every night or what have you, and you go to work. And you dedicate your life, years of service, back-breaking labor. You really, you put your work before everything. Because if you lose your job, that's it. You can't pay the mortgage. You can't put the kids through school. You can't buy food. So the job is key. It's everything. So you put everything into work. Everything revolves around work. And you do this for years. For what? Paper. For $1. Paper money. This is what we do it for. You do it for paper. And it's just paper. It's not backed by anything. So if you're going to put your life into your work, into what you do, into your profession, think about what you're getting back. This is what you're getting back. You're getting back paper. Wouldn't you rather get back something that can't crash? This crashes, that's it. It's gone. It's worthless. Wouldn't you rather get back something that, no matter what happens, it's going to be valuable? So we work so hard and we do all the things that we do to get back paper instead of gold and silver. And we sit back and, we let this happen. So now our currency is currently backed by nothing except for paper. And the whole thing is, if it crashes, we will face some terrible things. We'll have some, terrible issues we will have to face. But as I said in previous videos, that it's a couple of things that has to happen before the dollar can crash, before they will allow it to crash. One, they have to take away our guns. They have to take away our weapons or limit our weapons or our ammo supply somehow, some way. And, they have been trying to do that for years now. And they have to put the police, the state and local police, under federal control. They have to do that. There's no way they're going to be able to, keep control of the people with the police force not under federal control, because this will be a federal issue once the dollar, goes down. So those state and local policemen are, they regular people, so they will have problems as well. But if it's under federal control, they can bring the military along with the police force and militarize everything, not just under martial law, but, anytime they want to, basically. So, they have been actively engaging in doing exactly that. So all of this racial tension that we are seeing in America is a part of that plan. So what's going to happen is something that's going to be so, bad, so outrageous, something that's going to happen that's going to cause all the people to just, say enough's enough. We got to do something about this police. Something has to happen. Something has to change. The police are killing people. We need to do something. And something so bad is going to happen that the president, whoever that may be, is going to step up and say, you know what, I'm going to pass a bill. I'm going to propose a bill that's going to place the state and local police under federal control so we can do something about this, so we can stop these cops from killing people. Everybody's going to cheer, and we are going to applaud, and we're going to be happy, and we're going to ask for, another nail in the coffin, because that's exactly what they want. We march and we protest and we say, Black Lives Matter. We got to stop these cops. Something has to change. And we don't realize what we are doing. We are asking for a nail in the coffin. We are asking for our own destruction. Now, I know people are going to say, well, what are we supposed to do? And, this is not the way. We are giving them what they want, and they will soon get it. It will happen. Maybe not under Obama, maybe under the new president, who knows? But something is going to happen, and they will federalize state and local police. And then that's one of the nails in the coffin. Now, you have all these false flags. We have the new one that just happened in San Bernardino, California. 14 people killed. Supposed to be at a Christmas party. I mean, the whole thing is sketchy. It's weird when you look at it, and it's like, okay, another false flag. What did Obama say? Immediately, gun control. This is going to keep happening. But we see these things. We see the whole fake newswoman. It's clearly fake. It has been exposed so much. I mean, whoever she is, she need to just come out of hiding. She need to just come out and say, okay, y'all got me. It's fake. But we have exposed this stuff time and time again, and nobody seems to care. And this is what I mean. Like, we sit back and people wonder, what's going to happen to America? What's going to happen here? Whatever they want. Because nobody cares. We see these false flags and people just, oh, well, nobody cares. Then people like me and people like you who watch, who try to spread this information, what happens to us? We are conspiracy theorists, or we crazy when we present this information. When you looked at the whole Sandy Hook thing, and then you look at Batman, when people connect those dots, I mean, it's just like a coincidence to some people. When it's clearly obvious, what took place. You had a crazy guy go into the Batman movie and shoot up the place. You had the kids in the school, and then you just find all this stuff in the Batman movie like it's, coincidence. But nobody wants to connect the dots. Anybody who brings this stuff up is crazy. Then we start finding all these crisis actors. The whole Boston bombing hoax, crisis actors everywhere. One lady at one bombing, one lady at another, the same lady at the shooting. People seeing crying at multiple false flag events. I mean, it's clearly staged. It's clear what they are trying to do here. It's clear that they have an agenda that they have been pushing for years, where they are trying to take our weapons. They're trying to take our guns. And we sit back. The American people has to see it. The news media is clearly in on it. And, nobody says nothing. So they are slowly taking away everything. They took away our land. And a lot of you think that, you own your property, you own your house, you own your land. But the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution says that the government has the right to take your property and any piece of land that it needs for itself or for the public. All they have to do is give you fair compensation. And fair compensation basically means, the comp value or fair market value. So basically, if all the homes in your neighborhood has been selling for $1 million, but you decided, to be a baller, to add some granite, some marble in the house, some gold trim, trace ceilings and stuff like that. And now your house is worth about $2 million. Well, eminent domain only has to give you, $1 million. They only have to give you the comp value. And a lot of people has heard of eminent domain, especially here in Philly. And, they come through and they take your property. They have taken away properties from people who lived in their house for, decades and given them just, the comp value. So if you live in a neighborhood where, you put thousands of dollars in your house and the neighborhood started declining, and the last time a house sold was, let's say, in the 80s for about 20,000. And this happened. So now they can go look at the comps and see what the houses have been selling for in your neighborhood, and they have not been selling for much. They're not going to give you the value of your house. They're going to give you the comp. So now your house is worth 100,000. They might only give you 20. This has been happening. You can check it out for yourself. So the government can come and take your house. And remember, they're going to take your property. They're going to take your land and give you what? Paper. They're going to take your property and give you paper. They're going to take actual land and give you paper. And you're going to smile and accept that paper. They've taken real money, gold and silver, and given us paper. Paper. And this is what has been going on, and we have been accepting this. So they took our land, they took our money, then they took our freedom. 1933, when the Social Security Act was passed, and everybody had to be registered with a Social Security number. Now, the whole thing is we are a lot older now. This is the 21st century. A lot of people have no clue that the world, America, actually functioned for hundreds of years without people having a birth certificate or Social Security card or an ID card. People function, America still existed. It still thrived without us having those numbers. A lot of us are brainwashed. A lot of people don't realize what I'm saying here. They say, well, of course, we need a Social Security number. It's too many people. And, it's easier that way. It's easier for us to do these things. And it's a better way to do these things than for us to have this number that follows you everywhere. You can't drive without that number. You can't buy a house. You can't go to school. You can't get a loan. You need that number to do all these things. And like I said, a lot of people are brainwashed and they look at government, and we look at government as this helpful system that's supposed to serve the people, but it's clearly not. We have a police force. It's called a police force, not the police force, because that's what they use. They instill force. They do what they do by force. Yes, if you don't believe that, tell a cop no and watch what happened to you. Walk away. Watch what happened to you. You're going to go down by force. So for people, they're going to say, of course, we need the police. People are crazy. Crime happens and, the police force is needed. But you have to stop and think. If the government is doing what it's supposed to do with our money and our freedom, why would there be a need for a police force? Of course, you could have a sheriff, like they had back in the 1800s when people were still free and sovereign. But you can have a sheriff to, sit there, a small minimum police for, domestic violence, local drunk, small stuff. But if the government is doing its job, if people are not homeless, there's enough jobs to go around, we are manufacturing things, we are making things in this country and, bringing in money, people are not homeless and starving on the streets, there would be no need for a police force. Crime would be low because about 95% of the crimes that happens in America are due to poverty. You got your domestic violence and stuff like that happens, but 9 times out of 10, when you go and you look back at all the crimes, they are, they exist because of poverty. And that's plain to see. People are poor. They can't afford to eat, so they steal. Can't afford to pay bills, so they steal. People rob, people kill, things happen. People sell drugs. And we know everything that comes with that situation is because of poverty. So if the government was doing its job and taking care of the people, which they are supposed to do, that is its job, then there will be no more need for a police force. But, as long as people can go to work, long as people can eat, long as people can, have one of these and have money in their pocket, the whole thing is they really don't care what the government does with its freedom, its food, our homes, our entertainment. We don't really care what the government do. And we sit around and we wonder, what's going to happen. A lot of people are starting to panic, looking at the news and seeing what's going on. And we really don't care what they do. As long as we have money and entertainment and we can go have fun, as long as the police is not in your way or the government is not in your face right now today, people don't care. So where are we headed? Where are we headed in this country? We are headed for wherever they want us to go. Whatever they are planning, whatever they want to do, they will accomplish it because we don't care. We care more about, rap battles, rap beefs, stupid stuff, fights, sports, memes. You can see by the amount of likes and views certain videos get what we care about in America. These little funny videos that's all over Facebook. They funny, millions of likes. But, a video, where a positive person is speaking, trying to educate people, we rarely get 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 likes. People don't care. As long as they have money, as long as they can eat and work, they typically don't care what the government does. So for the rest of us, it's a problem. For people who are conscious and know what's going on and what's taking place in this country, it's a problem. It's a problem when you try to wake people up and say, hey, put down the goddamn joystick. Turn off the fucking TV. Pay attention to what they're doing. Look at what's going on. It's a problem when we scream and we try to wake people up and they don't care. So when people ask me this question, what's going to happen here? Exactly what they want to happen, because people don't give a shit. And we have to change that. You have to change it. You got to speak up, post videos, do something. Go find inspirational videos and post them, or, information, and put it out there, and whatever you can do. Nothing is too small, but we got to wake people up. Bombard them. I'm happy to see that, when, what's his name? McDonald, the kid, 17-year-old kid, was shot 16 times. That video flooded Facebook. I was very happy to see that. Every time I scrolled up, I kept seeing that video, and people was outraged from all over. Black, white, Mexican, Asian. So many people posted that video. And I was like, yes, people are waking up because they seen it, and it was so graphic and so brutal. And then the story behind it, people posted it. And, it got a lot of traction, and it still is gaining a lot of traction, and people really looking into it. But it's waking people up when you do stuff like that. So we got to step back and look at what we putting our energy into, what we putting our attention into, and we got to realize, and we got to say to ourselves, is this what I need to be focusing on?